Well, things just continue to go very, very badly for the orange criminal buffoon. He is absolutely losing it over on Truth Social right now because, of course, he doesn't actually do any real work. He spends most of his time watching Fox News and rage posting on Truth Social, which is what he's been doing this morning. And I want to get to a couple of his posts here in a minute. But as evidence of the fact that things are just not going well for this guy, you're starting to see a lot of articles being published about how Donald Trump is losing his grip on MAGA, how he was a lame duck. There was a good piece, I believe it was in The Atlantic the other day, about Donald Trump being a really, really lame duck. And I came across another article here. This one is in Newsweek. It's a headline, Trump is losing his grip on MAGA. I want to read a few excerpts from this article, and then I want to get to those insane posts that the orange buffoon is posting over there on his low-rent social media platform. So let me read a little of this first. 10 months into his second term, President Donald Trump is being challenged by the very base he prides himself on creating. And he finds himself besieged by an army of issues that could threaten his MAGA support and spell trouble for lawmakers who remain by his side. Reeling over the farmer furor that has met his plan to import Argentine beef, and now from Democratic victories in last week's off-cycle elections, Trump is facing friendly fire over perceived pivots on immigration, the state of the economy, and the latest episode in the long-running Epstein saga that has dogged his second administration's every step. Now, those are just some of the things that are going badly for Trump that is causing him to melt down. Those No King protests, I think, really triggered him, to use a phrase. Also, we are just having poll after poll showing how just historically unpopular this guy is. The latest AP poll just came out yesterday, shows him at 36% approval. That's it. That's pretty bad. We're getting down to the point where the only people who will be approving of this guy are just his hardcore MAGA cultists who just, they're beyond reach. They're going to support him no matter what. And we're getting close to those numbers. Let me continue. Many of these tensions came to a head in an interview with Laura Ingraham that aired on Monday, during which the Fox News host challenged the president on offering 600,000 visas to Chinese students and his unexpected praise for the H-1B visa program, characterizing these as decidedly anti-MAGA stances. Trump's defense that China is no worse an adversary than France and that foreign-born workers are needed to account for the U.S.'s lack of talent, man, that really set the MAGA base off. He's supposed to be America first, right? Isn't that his whole shtick? And they're pissed that he's bringing in 600,000 Chinese students and saying that, hey, we have to because there's no talent here in America. Oh, man, he just keeps digging his hole. Let me start this paragraph again. Trump's defense that China is no worse an adversary than France and that foreign-born workers are needed to account for the U.S.'s lack of talent seems to have sparked as much backlash as the positions themselves, though the White House says Trump's core commitments remain unchanged. What core commitments? The president himself was quick to reject the idea of a divide developing within the MAGA camp over any of these issues. Quote, this is what Trump said to Laura Ingraham. Don't forget, MAGA was my idea. MAGA was nobody else's idea, just mine. I know what MAGA wants better than anyone else, and MAGA wants to see our country thrive. By the way, dumbass, MAGA was not your idea. Well, it depends what we mean by MAGA. If we just mean the slogan, because really, what is MAGA? That's all it is. It's a slogan, make America great again, and then it's a personality cult. It's a personality cult with a slogan. That is all that MAGA is. It doesn't really stand for anything. I mean, they're united by their hate for different groups. I mean, I guess you could say they stand for that. They stand for hating certain groups of people. And I guess they stand for not allowing any, minorities into this country. They're perfectly fine with allowing whites into the country, Europeans into the country, or at least most of them are. But keep out those damn colored people. I guess that's something. But other than that, they don't stand for anything. I mean, they used to stand for free trade, no more. They used to stand, against Russian aggression, no more. They used to be opposed to tariffs, now they love tariffs. On and on and on and on. Because Trump, he has taken every position on every issue at one time or another, and the MAGA cult just follows him along. So they don't really believe in much of anything at all, except defending Donald Trump mindlessly. Whatever Donald Trump says is what they believe. So it's a personality cult with a slogan. And the slogan was not your idea, Donald. You know it, and I know it. I think most people have forgotten this, but not me. You ripped that slogan off from Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan's 1980 campaign featured, among other things, the Let's Make America Great Again. That was his slogan in 1980. They had posters and pins and all the campaign memorabilia with that all over it. Let's make America great again. You decided to run for president and you thought to yourself, first, which party should I run? Should I run as a Democrat or should I run as a Republican? Because I don't actually believe in anything. I just want to, it's all about me. I'm a narcissist. I want to feed my ego. I want to get a lot of attention. So I'm going to run for president. But I don't believe in anything. So what party should I choose to run in? And you picked the Republican Party because you realized that party had the highest concentration of morons. So you ran as a Republican and you thought, how can I get Republican support? Well, who was the most effective Republican in the last half century? Well, that would have been Ronald Reagan. Well, what did Ronald Reagan do when he was first running for president? Well, let's take a look at his campaign stuff. Oh, I like that slogan, Let's Make America Great Again. Well, let's just chop off the let's and let's go with Make America Great Again. And we can slap that on hats. It's MAGA, MAGA. Yeah, let's do that. So that's where you got it from, Donald. This was not your idea. You're too stupid to come up with any idea on your own. Okay, let me read a little bit more of this article before we get to his lunatic ravings on social media. I think the MAGA base is splitting, said Peter Loge, a professor of media and public affairs at George Washington University. Donald Trump will never lose his core support, but what it means to be MAGA or a true Republican is now suddenly being debated. Yeah, this is all part of the Republican Civil War, the MAGA Civil War that has already begun and which will continue and intensify the further along we get into the Trump administration. With the less time he has, the more it becomes obvious that he's going to be gone pretty soon, the more this Civil War is among the MAGAs is going to intensify. And part of the problem is they don't believe in anything. I mean, again, other than their shared hatred for certain groups of people, other than that, there's no set of principles, no policy objectives that they have. It's just Donald Trump. That's it. That's the nature of a personality cult. Well, once you lose the cult leader, the personality cult collapses, and it's not going to just transfer to someone else. It's not going to just automatically go to J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or anyone else. No one else can control this cult. It did not exist before Donald Trump. It was created around Donald Trump. It's not going to anyone else. So once Trump leaves the scene, this cult is going to disintegrate and start warring with each other as these different factions of lunatics fight for supremacy and to pick up a majority share of, the destroyed cult. That's the phase of MAGA that we are beginning to enter now. Okay, a little bit more here. Todd Belt, a professor of political management at George Washington University, said evidence for fracturing in the president's base included the town hall meetings at which GOP lawmakers have been confronted over their support for the president. Further evidence were the lawmakers and media figures, the MAGA elite, who appear increasingly comfortable breaking with Trump on key issues. Belt noted additional, and by the way, look at how many of them are apparently going to vote to release the Epstein files in the House. More and more people are not afraid to stand up to this guy. You know, they're going to get to a point. I did a video about this the other day. I'll link it below. I think I titled it, "It's Just a Matter of Time." It's just a matter of time before they wake up, at least the elected Republicans. It's only a matter of time before they wake up and realize we can't continue defending this guy. He's horribly unpopular. He's not going to be our candidate going forward. You know, we're going to need to stand on our own and win elections without this piece of shit. And believe me, most Republicans in Congress hate this guy. Even the ones who kiss his ass the most actually hate him. They can't wait till he's gone. But you know, it's only a matter of time until they realize and admit to themselves and start acting on the fact that continued defense and support of this guy is going to be electoral disaster for them as a party going forward. And they're already starting to figure that out, especially after the elections last week where they got their asses kicked. Looking at these poll numbers, they see where this is headed. They know how unpopular he is. They know it's only going to get worse. And they have to start distancing themselves from Trump, and some of them already have. And that is going to beget other people finding the courage to stand up against him. You know, if they all do it, that's the thing. If they had all just stood up against this person, this corrupt criminal piece of shit, at any point in the past, they could have survived it. The problem is, it's whack-a-mole. You know, just one of them pops their head up and then Trump destroys them. If they all do it at the same time, he can't go to war against the whole friggin' party. It's going to rip MAGA apart. And they could have just ripped the Band-Aid off, like in the second impeachment. That was the perfect time to do it. Convict him in the Senate, be rid of him. Yeah, the base would be pissed for a little while, but where else are they going to go? They ain't going to go voting for the Democrats. They'd come back to Republicans, and they would move on from Trump. Trump would have been long ago in the rear view mirror if they had just done that. But they didn't, because they're a bunch of cowards. And now I'm not saying they have any courage now, but they are being forced, or they will be, by the political reality and the quest for self-preservation for themselves. If they're going to stay in office, if they're going to win elections going forward, they're going to have to break with this guy. And it's starting to happen. Anyway, I think MAGA, in terms of the movement, is willing to forgive Donald Trump on a lot of things because they consider him to be the businessman, and he knows what he's doing when he's going back and forth with his tariffs and disruptive sort of behavior. Now, the only people who would think that he knows what he's doing when it comes to tariffs are people who are too stupid to know what tariffs are. And of course, you know, that is the MAGA cult. They are too stupid. Because anyone with half a brain knows that he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and he's not a good businessman. He went bankrupt 6 times. No one would ever even have known this piece of shit's name if Daddy hadn't given him literally hundreds of millions of dollars and bailed him out after all of his failures. Anyway, but this is the one... back and forth, disruptive sort of behavior. But this is the one where it just really violates the ideology of, you know, deep state cover-ups and being an outsider. All the things he promised and now seems to be on the other side of it. Here he's talking about Epstein. This professor's talking about Epstein. This Epstein thing is causing a real rift between him and his MAGA base. Because, hey, you were supposed to expose the deep state. And now some of these people, stupid though they are starting to realize, hey, he is the damn deep state. He was supposed to be exposing the pedophiles. Now he's covering up for the pedophiles. They need to take one step further. He's not just that he's covering up for other pedophiles. There's one very specific pedophile that he is covering up for. I'll give you a hint. He's fucking stupid and orange. Okay. Any more of this article I want to read? My fat fingers could turn the page here. Nah, I guess that'll do it. Let me move on to his social media meltdown. This is what he's posting. He posted a few things today on Truth Social. Let me read a couple of these for you. The first one he wrote was this. The Democrats are doing everything in their withering power to push the Epstein hoax again, despite the DOJ releasing 50,000 pages of documents in order to deflect from all their bad policies and losses, especially the shutdown embarrassment, where their party is in total disarray and has no idea what to do. Some weak Republicans have fallen into their clutches because they are soft and foolish. Epstein was a Democrat, and he is the Democrats' problem, not the Republicans' problem. Ask Bill Clinton, Reid Hoffman, and Larry Summers about Epstein. They know all about him. Don't waste your time with Trump. I have a country to run. So that was the first one he posted. The second one was he just posted a video clip from Fox News, surprise, surprise, of Jesse Waters, doing what Jesse Waters does, saying that this whole thing was a hoax, and Ghislaine Maxwell says Trump is innocent, all that kind of crap. And so basically, Trump just posted that, basically saying, you don't have to believe me. Listen to Fox News. Believe them. They said I didn't do anything wrong. Listen to Jesse Waters. He knows the truth. Then finally, he posted this third one. He's probably posted others while I've been talking here, but the latest was he posted this one, and he wrote, now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown and all of their other failures, I will be asking AG Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, J.P. Morgan Chase, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. This is another Russia scam, with all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Records show that these men and many others spent large portions of their life with Epstein and on his island. Stay tuned. So surprise, surprise, when the heat is on him, he tries to put the heat on other people. So he knows what he did with his best friend Jeffrey Epstein. So to deflect from that, he's going to order investigations of all these other people. Now, if these other people did anything wrong, they should be exposed too. But so too should the orange criminal. Okay? And this ain't going to work. It might work for a while, but this Epstein issue isn't going anywhere. This is a desperate attempt, obviously, that we can all see through. This is Trump being like, why does everyone want to investigate me? I don't want to go to prison. Why won't they just investigate someone else? Hey, wait a minute. I'm president. I can just order them to do it. Oh, yeah, this is a good idea. I'm going to investigate all these people and throw them in prison, and then they'll stop talking about me and Epstein. Oh, this is a brilliant plan. I am so smart. I wish Mommy and Daddy had told me I was smart instead of stupid. I'm not stupid. Not like everyone says. Not dumb. I'm smart, and I want respect. Lousy Epstein.